So pay my respects to the goodness of the Triple Gem. Also, Luang Liam and Luang Kalyano, the abbot of the monastery here, give my blessings to all of the laity. So today we have come to create merit and skillfulness. And so this merit, it's happiness, and kusala, this means is intelligence or skillfulness. And this morning I saw many Buddhists from Australia living here come and offer food on alms round, paying respects to the Sangha. You can say this is a great fortune for all of us. So when we listen to the Dhamma, that this is a skillful means for us to get new information or to gain wisdom. And I was invited to come to Australia to perform a ceremony. I arrived on the 14th. And Lompo Anan from Wat Mapjan, he has a disciple who was Australian who went to ordain and stayed with him for many years. And then he went back to his home country in order to spread the Dhamma in Sydney. And his parents offered a very large piece of land so that they could build the monastery. They also recently built an Abosta hall there. Also Lompo Anan, he invited many members of the Sangha to come together for the ceremony. And so that's how I got the invitation to come, along with many other monks. And Lompo Kalyano, the abbot of Buddha Bodhiwana Monastery, he joined in that ceremony. And he also had the faith to invite all of the monks there, when they'd finished that ceremony, to come here and to visit this monastery as well. So this is the second time I've been to Australia. The first time I got an invitation from Ajahn Brahm in Perth at Wat Bodhiana. And I was in Australia for 21 days. So he took me here as well. And I had the good fortune to come and stay here. And this was before Lompo Kalyano had received his Jalkun title. And they had just built the Uposatha hall. They didn't have many dwelling places. But he took me around to have a look at the monastery, and it wasn't nearly as expansive as it is now. But coming here again after many years, I can see that this country and also this monastery has developed a lot in that time. And there are many places in this monastery where it's convenient to receive many senior monks and also lots of lay people as well. I can see that this monastery is quite complete at the moment. So we are fortunate to have Lompo Kalyano, and that he had such forbearance. He went to seek out the Dhamma of liberation in Thailand. So he went there, ordained there, and went to stay with Lompo Anan. And you see that Lompo Anan has many disciples, and a lot of disciples from overseas as well, who went to stay with him in order to change themselves, to forge their disposition, and give many things up so that they could ordain as a monk. So we can see that this place, it's a great benefit for many people. And that Lompo Kalyano came to stay here, he practiced here. We call Supatipanno or Jupatipanno. Someone who's practiced well, who's practiced directly. So there's something I'd like to tell you about. You can listen to about Buddhism and the sacrifices of our Buddha as the Prince Siddhartha, that he left the palace, practiced, and gave up for 6 years before he reached enlightenment. And then he took that Dhamma and he spread that around India until the teachings that he laid down became very firmly established within India. And after 80 years of his life, he went into Parinibbana. So he was teaching for 45 years. And after that, about 100 or 200 years later, there was King Asoka, who also gave up his noble wealth to help out the Buddhasasana, which is that both his son and his daughter ordained as a monk and a nun. And they practiced and were able to teach the Dhamma. So we're fortunate to gain this inheritance of noble wealth from King Asoka that he selflessly gave to support the Buddhasasana so it could become well established. And he also sent Sona and Uttara to spread the Dhamma, and that's how Thailand got the teachings of the Buddha. So these days, people from all over the world have the opportunity to study and practice and to take the Dhamma and the teachings of the perfectly self-awakened Buddha. And these have been spread around to all people who are interested in the teachings of the Buddha. So we can see in this monastery that if Lompo Kalyano hadn't gone to seek out the Dhamma, then we wouldn't have this place. This place wouldn't be a Buddhist monastery. And then myself, all the other senior monks, all of the monastics, we wouldn't have come here and you wouldn't have the opportunity to listen to the Dhamma from us. We wouldn't see this place as it is. But because Lompo Kalyano sought out the Dhamma and then came to stay here and struggled through the many difficulties, that you now have this opportunity to come and to learn the Dhamma. And so these many senior monks have come and performing their duty for the benefit of the lay people. You can see that this brings delight to both sides, to both the laity and the monastics. And that there's this joy and this rapture that comes up seeing so many monks here in the hearts of the laity. I feel really happy. So I've come now and received this invitation, and I was really proud when I received that, because I get to do so many wholesome things here. So like this morning we chanted this auspicious victory chant of Jayanto in the place where they're going to build a jetty as a memorial for the Buddha. And we're all very lucky. So we can see that this arises from the merit that we have produced in the past. And the Buddha said that having this merit that we produced in the past is a blessing for our lives. And what we mean by the past here, then, is past lives. And that having practiced, having developed merit, having done skillful deeds, and we then in this life came to be born in many different continents, but we've all managed to come and meet one another. Just like all of the senior monks have come here and met up here. So there's another story I'd like to tell you about Venerable Mahakassapa, one of the great disciples of the Buddha. In a previous life, he was born as an animal, as a bat in a cave. And then one day, there were monks who came to practice in that cave. And soon after that, one of the head monks said that we will do some chanting, because it was the Uposatha day. So the bat heard this and knew, okay, today the monks are going to be chanting. So he then stayed in the cave and was hanging from the top of the cave, respectfully listening to the chanting. But as he was listening, he felt such delight in hearing that, and that his feet let go of the roof and he fell and hit the ground and died. And so his physical elements of earth, water, fire and air, they broke apart and stayed in that cave, but his mind was born as a deva, and he stayed in a celestial mansion there. And then after that, he was born as a human, as Mahakassapa, in the time of the Buddha, the fourth Buddha of this era, Buddha Gautama. And so then he had this opportunity to listen to the Dhamma again, and he practiced the Dhamma very strictly in the forest, going on alms round, not receiving any invitations at homes. And he did this so that other people who ordained would know that there was another monk that they could take as an example of someone who just ate alms food, someone who just used discarded cloth. So we can see this opportunity that he had. This came from the merit that he had produced in the past, which had supported him. So it's just like Lompo Kalyano coming here, and then all of us were able to join together and to create these meritorious deeds because of the merit that we've produced in the past. It's like for myself, going to Bodhisattva Monastery in Sydney and then coming here, and I've seen so many lay people creating merit, practicing the Dhamma. And so these are things which we have done before, and that's why we're able to all meet up now. So many monks coming to this monastery. So I was invited to give this talk in the morning and the evening. Lompo Sopon will be teaching the Dhamma. And if anyone's gone to Wat Nom Papong, you probably would have met us before at that monastery. So with Lumpucha, and having the opportunity to stay with him, that he taught the Dhamma in very simple terms. That he just said, just meditate, just practice, just cultivate your minds, and just do it bit by bit. And so when we do it bit by bit, that if someone understands the Dhamma, then through doing that, their mind can become peaceful. But he also wouldn't let us cling to anything. So he taught us to do our walking meditation, to sit in meditation, to listen to the Dhamma, to practice whatever duties that we had as monks, to do all of those. And also in Thailand, around every 8 days on the full moon and the new moon and the half moon days, many people would come to the monastery to listen to the Dhamma. And Lumpucha would teach the monks and the novices, and also teach the lay people as well. So it's just like here, that Lompo Kalyano had stayed with Lompo Anan for many years, and then he took the Dhamma that he had learnt and helped to spread that overseas. So this is a place which is very quiet and peaceful, and a place that I'm very happy to be in, that I feel here now. It's very comfortable and at ease living here. And also seeing so many lay people who have this intelligence to create merit and good deeds. And so if we have this intelligence, then wherever we are, we'll know how to make a living in the skillful way there. Do we do this in order to support these physical bodies of ours? But in order to live in society well, we need to depend upon the Dhamma. And with this Dhamma, it gives us patient endurance. So in coming here, you can see that so many of the laity are very well educated. Many have studied into high school and university as well. And this gives us a knowledge to be able to make a living and support our lives. But if we don't have the foundation of the Dhamma to depend upon as well, that will create difficulty in our lives. And so we need to then come and to study the Buddha's teachings as well. And when we have this and we follow the teachings of the Buddha, then this will give us completion within our lives. And so if we study the Dhamma like we are here, then this then gives us good results. So just like the previous days, I saw so many people offering food to the monks. And this is a result of the teachings which Luang Por Kalyana has given to the laity. He's taught what the Buddha had taught. And so that the lay people can listen, and they in turn can gain mindfulness and wisdom from that. So when we have this mindfulness and wisdom, you can also view that no matter where we come from, no matter what country or continent, that having been born, really we're all the same. That all of us need to get old just the same, we need to grow ill just the same, we need to die just the same. But before we age and sicken and die, we should create a lot of goodness. So Luang Por Chah said that we should both be breathing and also actually be living as well, which means that we should be using our lives to create goodness. But if we don't have that life, then we run out of opportunity. Just like there's Ajahn Tanio, who passed away recently, and he had ordained at Nombapong before, and I'd lived with him before. And so we're fortunate then to receive the results of the efforts that Luang Por Kalyana had put in, and also these teachings of the Buddha which have spread all around the world. And those who have wisdom take those teachings and put them into practice and gain the results of happiness from that. So with this happiness then there's the happiness of the body, which is its lack of illness. But there's also the happiness of the mind as well. And when we have that, then whatever we do, we're happy. And this is a happiness which isn't distracted, that we're not going and thinking about various different things. But whatever it is that we're doing, if we're at work, whatever place we're in, if we're eating, if we're drinking, and then our minds are with that particular duty. Because it's normal that all of us have work in the world to do. And with that work, you can say that it both has an endpoint and it also doesn't have an endpoint. So what that means is that if we actually understand, then it ends, which is from the level of Sotapanna, so a stream enterer, and then a once returner, a non-returner, and an arahant, these noble beings, that their work ends. But for the Putujana, so one who has many defilements, it doesn't end. But if we understand the Dhamma, we understand the teachings of the Buddha, and then we can see that really the people of the past and the people of the present were just the same, and that we have minds. And the Buddha taught the minds of beings. And what did he teach? And so he taught Sappapassa akaranang kusarasu pasampada sajita pariyodapanang. So to abandon all unskillful things, to bring skillfulness to completion and to purify the mind. So the meaning of this is that we don't harm anything, that we bring up merit, that we look after our minds. So it's normal that we have both wholesome and unwholesome qualities within the mind, but what we're after is the wholesome things. So like us living together in a society, in a family, that we try not to have ill will or look down upon one another, try not to be jealous of one another, to not do anything which is going to sadden our minds. But rather we try to bring the mind into a state of normality. And then wherever we go, the mind is normal. And so we don't, what that then means, that normality is not letting anything to allow the mind to become ill at ease. So whatever it is that we're doing, whether we're eating, whether we're drinking, whether we're talking, or whatever it is that we do in this world, we try to have our mindfulness, the sati, this quality of recollection, sampajanya, this quality of clear awareness. So like right now, you can be sitting, and if the thought comes up, when is this Dhamma talk going to finish? Then we know that that thought has arisen. But if we just allow that thought to carry on, we just keep thinking that, when's this going to be over? Then the mind just becomes more and more agitated. But if, as we're listening, and then there's a joy in that listening, then there's no problem there. And so I've travelled here all the way from a different continent, and it took a really long time to get here. We left at about 6 p.m. in Thailand and arrived just when it got light. It was about 6:30 in the morning. So I flew here all the way from overseas. It took 9 or 10 hours to get here. And so you should think that, well, this is, it's going to be 17 years before I come again. So, but the first time that I came, I had this opportunity to teach as well. And as I was talking, the translator, he'd just used a new pen, and then after a while, he told me that his hand was really stiff and he couldn't write anymore. So so I stopped at that point. So when I came here, I asked the abbot, when do I get to give a Dhamma talk? And he said, I'll give you the chance today. So we're all fortunate that we get to listen to this talk today. So therefore all of us having minds, that we take these minds to do goodness. And then when we have this goodness, then we feel at ease, no matter what we're doing. So the work that we do, we feel at ease. Because that's what this world wants, is goodness. It wants people who can work together, people who know how to give and to be selfless. And so we can do the duties that we have with those qualities. But for that, we need to have mindfulness as well. And so I've had this chance then to train with these great teachers, to listen to their talks. And you've all been really intent to come here as well. That I asked Lampo Kalyano how far it is from the city, and he said it's about 70 kilometers to come here. But you think, well, that's no problem. And you come all the same. And I feel really happy seeing all of you and all of the merit that you're producing as well. And so if we don't have illness in the body, then we should try to do that goodness. Because the merit that we are producing in this present moment, it's a blessing for our lives. So right from the time that we wake up, we should establish our mindfulness and think that today I'm just going to do goodness, that I'm going to say just good things towards my children, towards my spouse, my parents, my friends, that we don't do anything which brings about difficulty to one another. And so we can all come together and gain the kind of benefit of listening to these talks, and through that to gain mindfulness and wisdom. I also had the opportunity to go and visit university. And for myself, I came from a tiny village out in the countryside, and I hadn't studied very much. I see at university I get the opportunity to study about all different kinds of things. So, with being able to meet the teachings of the Buddha, this is a merit, that the results of the merit that we've produced in the past. That sometimes when we're living together in society, or we're with our children, we're with relatives, with colleagues at work, we can sometimes get annoyed and think, well, why is this happening, or why isn't that happening? But we should reflect then upon anicca, the state of things not being sure, of changing. And we should also reflect that the things of the world, they don't follow our own desires. They don't abide according to our own hearts. That all things are anicca, dukkha, anatta. And if through thinking that mood still hasn't quietened, then we can sit and close our eyes, recite Buddho, Buddho, Buddho. And what this word Buddho means, it's the one who knows. So we know our thoughts, both the good thoughts and the bad thoughts. And we try to just take those good thoughts, the things that bring about ease and happiness. Just like when we're driving a car, if we're feeling all scattered, and then we don't follow the road and we end up by crashing. But if the mind is in a state of samadhi, then it follows the road and we end up in our destination safely. And so the Buddha taught us then that if we still have life, then we need to hurry to develop goodness and not do anything which brings harm. Because if we do that, then we end up taking a loss through this life. So I can give an example here, that there were two men. And the one man created a lot of goodness in his life. He did many different kinds of goodness. But the other didn't really create any goodness. Both of them ended up by falling down wells. But the one, when he fell down, there was a piece of wood that he could hold to and he could pull himself up. And that was because of the barami that he created. But the other, he fell down to a very deep well, and he wasn't able to find anything to hold on to because he hadn't made that barami. So he didn't meet with anything that could help to save his life. So therefore all of us, we've come together to create barami. Even though we've been born in different places, we can come together like this. And we're fortunate that we're just creating goodness. And so today, with teaching this Dhamma talk, I don't really have anything else to say other than So this teaching of Sappa Papasa Akaranang, and so creating or refraining from any unskillful deeds, and then the creating of merit, bring the mind to purity. And the Buddha taught that we need to make this mind pure, which really means that we bring it into a normal state. And so that's what the Dhamma does, is it brings our mind to a state of normality. And no matter who we meet with, our children, our parents, colleagues, that we see everything as just being normal. But if it's not normal, then we suffer. And so today, and through my visit here, I've seen the faith and the kindness of the Australians and who have come here and helped to support the Sangha, helped to create merit. And so through this merit that you have created, through these skillful actions and through this noble wealth, may you then gain great benefits and great goodness from this. Luang.